As your franchise is growing, there are quite a number of risks which will impact the success, the value of your franchise, and also the continuity of your franchise. So it's important to be aware of these risks and manage these risks. So risk under risk mitigation, risk management, it is important to identify the risk and have a plan to manage them. So in a perfect world, and we don't have a perfect world, we will never eliminate all the risk. We always seek to mitigate, reduce the risk. So what are some of those risks? There are so many. However, we'll focus on just a few key ones for the next few minutes. Do remember to share this broadcast out, repost it. If you do have questions, please share in the comments or send me a message. That's quite fine too. The first one, risk relating to your team. Oftentimes, the team that you have may not be a strong team. So what does that mean? That means that if you're having a high turnover, for example, then you have a high risk when it comes to your team, because you might have persons leaving every few months and there's no continuity. So you want to examine, how can you mitigate that risk? Do you need to review your remuneration packages? Do you need to have other long-term goals for your employees? What is it that you can do to reduce the risk of your team? High turnover. Also, there's another risk with your team in terms of the quality of your team. And with the quality, I mean in terms of the knowledge of your team. Do they understand the business in such a way that if you're not around as the owner, the CEO, things will go along as planned? Are they efficient? Are they growing? How is their mind? So those are some of the things that you think about and set up processes, systems in place to mitigate those risks of related to your team. The other one is a risk related to you as the owner, as the CEO. Oftentimes, a key indicator when you have a huge risk is, as the owner and the CEO related to yourself, is if you go away and things are falling apart. If you don't touch base for a day or two, things fall apart. You pop in to see what's happening, and things are just so many things are going wrong. So, what that means is that you need to go back to the systems. Are the systems very clear? Are they clearly understood? Are they effective and efficient enough so that the team understands them and they are applying those systems? Because in the absence of that, if you're not around, then that's a huge weakness. And you do want, as you're growing, especially to multi locations, that a solid team is there and you are also, not being relied on to do everything. Some of the key things can be done without you physically being there, or you have a strong support. And there's a saying that goes, hire someone to replace yourself. They must be better than you. And it can be a bit uncomfortable to think about that. Oh, however, it's very essential that the key persons who are gradually going to be taking over some of your roles are versed, they're efficient, they're thinking, they're innovative. That's important. So that's another risk related to yourself as the owner, as the CEO. And the third one we'll talk about is risk related to your cash flow. Cash management is one of those areas that's often not uh, it's often put on the back burner, especially when you have a high bank account balance. There's that confidence in your bank account balance that, okay, things are going fine. I don't have an issue. That is one of the main ways I see businesses actually going down, not managing cash. And it's more than looking at your bank account balance. So that is a huge risk. Those risks related to cash coming in, cash leaving your business, cash management issues. So that are just three of the many risks. There's so many business risks related to, your business cycle, related to technology. There are so many risks. However, I'm just popping on to focus on those three: risk related to your team, the strength of your team, the quality of your team, high turnover, risk related to yourself as the owner, the CEO, where you don't have a succession plan, things like those, or there's lack of training for your role in the business. So again, you feel like you're in bondage because if you step away for a day or two, things fall apart. So that's another one. And of course, managing your cash flow. If you have any questions, do reach out to me, and you can send me a direct message, or you can place the questions our on the feed here on this video. And do remember to repost, reshare. It's a community. It's important that we support each other and keep valuable information as this, you know, more and more and more persons are hearing it. So signing off in 3, 2, 1. Bye, everyone.